It's been a few weeks now since Enchanted by Nature was released. Actually, is it a few weeks or is it like 2 months at this point? The new expansion pack has been like leaked. So has it been a few months? I don't know. It's been a little while since Enchanted by Nature came out, and I feel like the hype has died down, but I still really like at least the map. I've been living in Innisgreen for like most of my gameplays and building in there a fair amount, so I still quite like the actual world, even though I think the pack itself is a little bit of a flop. But I decided to build a kind of hobbit hole slash just like cave for like the natural living skill, and we're just gonna go through the speed build of that today. So going straight in, I think this is the lot that has the pond on it by default. I'm not sure where it is or what it's called, but I'll show you guys at the end like where it is on the map. But the Sims kind of have, it's a bit easier to get like a hobbit home sort of thing, you know, like the grass like dome thing and whatever, because we have like new grass textures and things like that. I'm a bit disappointed because the way that we actually do the hobbit homes hasn't changed. There's no like additional way to do it. It's literally just a couple of roof pieces bent in a certain way, and you can do what I'm doing and kind of build like the grass up around it as well, or you can kind of just do it fully through roofing. But I wanted more of a cave, like a hole in the wall, almost like the Sim has like dug into the side of a hill to get their home, basically. They've taken shelter within a cave. So mine isn't really a hobbit home, it more is like a cave than anything else. Like it technically doesn't have any walls apart from like one back wall, and that was just so that I could kind of, actually no, it's not even a wall, I think it's actually a room. I can't remember what I did for it actually. I think it's just like a 1 by like 5 room. So technically it has got one room, and technically with that it would be a tiny home as long as I didn't change that. I don't know if I did or not, so apologies if I did. But technically it could also be a tiny home, which I didn't think about until right now. But yeah, I wanted mine to just be like it had just been dug out and kind of like reinforced into like the side of like a little bank, like a little tiny hill. Hindsight, oh, it doesn't look like, no, never mind, I didn't make it a room, so there's technically, no, it can be because I do a roof at the top which has the 4 towers. Sorry, it can be a tiny home. I didn't think about it, but it can be. Anyway, yeah, I wanted this to look like the Sim had literally just carved into the side of a hill, and it's literally just fully exposed to the elements. They've reinforced it. It's very, very natural. It's all kind of just literally nature. Like a little bit of a spoiler, but there isn't even a bed in this, but it still works. I did playtest it, and actually I've played in this, I'll be honest with you, I built this like pretty much when the pack came out. I think this was the first thing I built with the new pack. Maybe not the first, maybe the second, but I could be wrong. I think this might be the first thing that I did build with the new pack. And I have actually played in this. I did a gameplay on my stream of like doing the natural living skill, because this is what this is made for. This is made so you can practice the natural living skill and live naturally with the natural living skill. This is not made for a city loving sim. This is not made for anything like that. This is made for nature enthusiasts who want to experience life outdoors as they feel is natural. But yeah, no, I've played on this. I did pretty well, actually. Kind of, I did like a rags to riches, but like when you don't need to buy a home, the home's already there. It wasn't really rags to riches. It was more just like, can you survive in the elements? And I think I started it in autumn, which, no, I think I started it in summer, which was a good idea, but also a bad idea because it started snowing before I'd maxed like the natural living skill, and like I couldn't really like sleep outside very well or like bathe in the water very well. So yeah, so I've basically done the main structure. There's a lot of landscaping for this. It is honestly, I think the build itself must have taken me maybe an hour, and I think the other 2 hours was figuring out the landscaping and trying to get everything to work. Like there's not really much to the build. There is a pond, so you can bathe in the water during the warmer-ish time. As soon as the ice is over though, you cannot bathe. But this lot in particular I think is good because there's a big like lake pond nearby, so you can just walk over to that. And speaking of the pond, I for some reason always make penis-shaped ponds, and I don't know why. Like, you know how some people always build like bean-shaped ones, you know, they kind of like got the bigger end and the you know, that kind of shape. That's not what I tend to do. I started off with this one being fairly bean-shaped, but I kind of decided with all the landscaping, I didn't want the landscaping just to be part of the hill and that'd be it. I wanted the landscaping to kind of wrap around the pond a little bit as well. In hindsight, I probably could have put like a waterfall, sorry. Oh goodness me, I'm talking too fast. I could have put like a waterfall on there, but I don't think I had the packs for that. This is literally just base game and just Enchanted by Nature. So this is like a limited pack build, which is very rare for me. And also, it's a starter home, which is also very rare for me, because if you've ever watched any of my streams or any of my attempts to build a starter home, you will know I struggle to do starter homes. I don't know what it is. I think I just have expensive taste. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Just had to pause there because I didn't change my camera settings, so my focus was going in and out. So if my camera looks a bit different, that's why. Anyway, not that anyone pays attention to my face during these videos or paying attention to anything at all. But yeah, this is actually a starter home, and it was only just a starter home. When I finished the house, I think the house itself was worth like 8 to 9,000. 8 to 9, not 89. 8 to 9,000. And then by the time I finished landscaping and adding in like the really small details, it was, I think, just about 18,000 or 19,000. So I only just made this a tiny home. Not a tiny home, a starter home, which is insane. I don't know how I did that. Back to the build though. So you'll see I put like a mossy carpet on the floor. That's the bed. So it doesn't obviously work as a bed. You can't click on it and say sleep or nap or relax. But with a natural living skill, you can just sleep on the floor. So that's like the assigned bedroom. You can sleep anywhere you like, but that is the assigned bedroom. But this place has got a fully functional kitchen. And I say fully functional, it will have a sink, it has a counter space so you can make salads and stuff. There is no oven, but I do put a grill in here. And actually I think for my proper gameplay, I removed the grill at the end. I didn't end up needing the grill because my sim was just basically living on like fruit and stuff, and in the end I put an apothecary table out, I think, and then I'll have to show you what I've done with it, because I've played in that save for a couple of hours, and the sim had a baby with Santa, I think. Was it with Santa? Oh, I actually don't know if she had a baby with Santa or not. I think she did. So she had a baby, so there is a baby or an infant, I guess, now living in this place as well, which you could say is kind of child cruelty, but like, listen, she's all hippy dippy. She wants to live in the middle of nowhere, and you know, social services in The Sims don't care unless your child is starving. So it's fine. So yeah, I'll have to show you what I've done with it, because mine actually looks drastically different. I expanded the kitchen in the end. I swapped out the table and things. I added an extra couple of things in there. So it does look a bit different now. So I'll have to show you that. I've said that like 4 times, but the kitchen is functional by way of, you could actually still cook in it. Like, you could do that. If you wanted to, if you had other packs, you could add on, well, I mean, you could add a microwave on top of the, mini fridge, because the mini fridge, if you didn't know, it has a slot like a countertop, so you can put coffee machines, you can put microwaves, you can even put those kind of like toast oven things from I can't think of it's one of my favorite packs and I can't think about it. The Dream Home Decorator. Oh my god, I was trying to say Home Chef Hustle and Design Shuffle. I was like, what the hell is that? Design Shuffle? Like, what is that? But yeah, so you can do that. You can put that stuff on top of the mini fridges, and it works fine. So you could have some sort of cooking thing in here. As I said, I did leave the grill in there, so you can still grill things if you have the ingredients for it. I'm pretty sure I ended up adding the lot trait Simple Living to this. Oh, which now I'm thinking about that, isn't that a cottage living lot trait? So technically, I think that is a cottage living lot trait. So technically, you actually need another pack for this, but you can just take that off. The simple living is where you need to buy your own groceries or have the food that you're making, and you get negative moodlets if you just make like a general, like, I think you can make one thing. I think it's Hello Hello, which is, it came with one pack and I can't remember what pack it was. I think it might have been for rent. But you can make that, and that doesn't require any ingredients. But if you make that, your sim gets mad because they've like not used fresh ingredients and things, which is like whatever. But yeah, so I added that. You could also add off the grid if you wanted to do that and just kind of make your own power, or you know, you can collect water or ice from your little lake things. You could do that if you wanted to. So I have basically finished the build, and we're going to go into a lot of landscaping, and I am aware that I've not really spoken about the build much. I did so much landscaping for this. I used a lot of debug landscaping and I really struggled because of the like different heights in the terrain. It's not very obvious to see, but you can kind of tell by like the different colors by the back of the like lake that it is on a pretty like high hill. So trying to do landscaping around that was quite difficult. And I actually thought that debug landscaping would be better for that, because usually the debug landscaping has like a really small footprint, but some things don't. You either have like a tiny little footprint for debug landscaping, which means you can put it like basically anywhere. Like I think you saw that there's like a big tuft, like a load of different like little sprouts of grass and plants and stuff that has like a tiny little square, but it's a massive item, so you can really put that anywhere off the lot. Some landscaping is like that, some landscaping is not. And actually, I found that a lot of the debug landscaping for this was really difficult to use because it just would not slot to the right height. So I was having to like do a load of filling underneath it with regular landscaping or rocks. Oh, I've got hiccups now from talking too fast. And it was kind of tricky. So I struggled with debug landscaping for only about half an hour, and then I decided to try to swap to regular landscaping. And it kind of worked out a lot better. I had a lot more ways to fill gaps and things like that. But I think the landscaping in general does look pretty good. I did cut out quite a lot of it because if I didn't, there would be probably like 25 minutes of just landscaping to talk through, and I'm not about that. There are some little touches in here though. So the little gnomes, I've got Gandalf the gnome right there, and then I want to put like a little debug lamp next to him so he's kind of protecting. You've got a fairy gnome, you've got like a plant gnome, and I think there's the naked gnome, or I think there is a naked gnome in the water where you would kind of like go to bathe. The only thing that's kind of annoying though is during Harvest Fest, or if you have the gnome lore ailment, the gnomes will move around, and that's kind of annoying because I placed them where I wanted them to be. At least Gandalf moved, which was really annoying because he's the only one that I specifically placed and actually cared if he had moved. So that is kind of a problem, but yeah, there's nothing you can really do about it. You can just let the gnomes move around if you want to. But yeah, just kind of back to landscaping. I did a couple of different details inside the building though. I think I do change some of them up, but I actually don't think I changed them. No, I didn't change them until my actual gameplay. So there's basically some shelves and stuff in the back with a bookshelf, a load of little like kind of collectible thingies, little lamps and lights and things like that. The inside honestly is quite boring. I did use the new toilet from Enchanted by Nature, and I did like a little separate cubby in the landscaping by the lake, almost as if like it drains directly into the lake. I say lake, it's a little pond, but almost as if it like drains directly into that, which is kind of gross. But it's like semi-sheltered behind some trees, not trees, bushes and plants and things like that, which was quite fun, and it does work. I have said this build is fully functional. I have tested this. I've played this for hours. It does work in all seasons. It works for like as long as you have the natural living skill, and as long as you're using the natural living skill, it does work. And having the big like actual river like nearby does help for things like fishing. I also go in the end, which there will be a small clip of that at the very end of the speed build. The sim that I used to test this, I think his name's like Gnome something. I don't actually know what his name is, but I did get him to plant a load of regular plants that you would need for the apothecary skill. No, not even for the apothecary skill. Just a couple of fruits and vegetables. I think I planted like a lemon tree, a plantain tree, apple tree, like strawberry bush and things like that. So I planted a couple of things just so you would have something to start out with. They're not grown, so you will have to struggle with that because I don't think I could cheat. I had to delete some mods to try and get me into Inner Screen because when the pack first came out, there was like an issue with some of the mods where you couldn't even load it into the world, or you could load into the world but not into a lot, so it was kind of annoying. So I had to delete a couple of my mods for that, so I don't think I made the plants grow, so sorry about that. But they do it does come pre-equipped with some plants, so you kind of have a way to start off, and then you can also just forage using the natural living skill, which will just get you some produce anyway for food and things like that. But yeah, there's kind of just basic detailing around the place, and just a lot of gnomes, so I really like this build though. I think it is a lot of fun. It really came together to what I was expecting it to be, especially with all the blending between the sides of the roof pieces. The only thing that really bugs me though is that the roof underneath it is just white. There's like one or two swatches. I think it's the thatched roofs or the hay roofs that came with Island Living. So either the ones with Cottage Living or the ones with Island Living, they have underspray on the roof textures, but the grass ones don't and other ones don't, and it's kind of annoying. I wish we could paint the underside of the roofs as well, because that like whiteness kind of takes the immersion out. But anyway, this is basically the speed build finishing up. He's just planting the actual like plants around. I can't remember what the ones they are, but whatever. So I'm going to load up the game and I'm going to take you through just a little micro tour. It will not take long, but I'll also show you what I've done to it since then in my own gameplay. Okay, I was actually wrong. This is in the starter home thing, I think it is. I'm really sorry that I didn't even get the name of the lot, but it's a 30 by 20 lot and it's kind of in the secondary downtown area, and there's like these kind of lots around. I think there's like a bar and things like that around here, so it's over here. This is what it looks like in the end, and I actually love it so much. It looks so good, if I do say so myself, but I really do enjoy it. There are some VFX in the water, so you've got some dragonflies. I think I added some mosquitoes around and things like that as well. But this is what it looks like. So let's give you like a tour. I'm gonna go into like this mode because I just love this mode. So you've got like a little mailbox, and this is honestly, this is it. Like there's not much else to show you. So over here we have the kitchen, and this is kind of like nicely cluttered. I really like the kitchen. I think it is quite cute. It's just got, you know, one counter space. It's got the sink. It's got the fridge. It's got some shelving, which I guess is like the open pantry. And you've also got the overhead cabinets and stuff for just general storage. This bin is actually the only thing that makes this lot not functional technically, but also you don't really use the bin much. I think I used it for a long time before it even got full. So you need an outdoor trash can, and then those trash cans never like fill up. You never have to empty them. I thought this one was an outdoor trash can, but it is not. So you'd have to replace this with another outdoor trash can. But honestly, the ones that I had in base game, I didn't really like. And I think I ended up replacing it on my real one with the werewolves one, I think. But that's the only thing that technically doesn't work is the bin. I didn't even realise that at the time. There is Gandalf the gnome. He's protecting as usual. We'll go over to this side. This is the dining area / extended kitchen. So actually as well, this dining table doesn't work. If you have the flower press thing on here, the dining table also doesn't really work because they can't use the other chair or anything like that. So you'd have to move that off if you wanted to eat. But it's not the end of the world. You can maybe just get your own desk or a separate table or something for the flower pressing. I also think you can flower press on the floor, but I could be wrong about that. I don't actually know. But if you didn't know, the flower pressing for the candles specifically is such a great way to make money. That's what my sim ended up doing. But again, I will show you what I've done with that later. Here's also the grill. There's nothing else I can show you for that. Round here is a little way to the toilet, which is kind of grim, but I also really like it. So if you're like over here, you can't see anyone on the toilet. You have to kind of be like over here. And then that's the case, like you're kind of over here in that. So if you're like kind of here, you can't see in there. And I feel like you even have to just look, like you have to be actively seeking the sim in there if you wanted to see them. There are some little tree lights and stuff. So that little tree thing is a lamp. I think I could put a couple of them around here just for the lights. And then around here we've got like a floating fairy gnome. I think I started talking about the gnomes earlier and I completely forgot to mention the fairy gnome. It's fine. There's also a fairy house back here. So if you became a fairy, you could use this house even better. Like this would really, really function as a home. But other than that, the rest of here is just landscaping. Back over here, we have then got like the bedroom, and I say bedroom very, very loosely. So this is the bed. Again, you just click on the floor and you just press sleep here, I guess. It has the little like natural living skill symbol for sleeping there. There are a couple of shelves. The little mushrooms, I thought the mushrooms looked great because, you know, it's growing out of rock. I think that makes sense. Also the same topic as that, like I've got like the rock ceiling. It's not the same, but it's all you really have. So I'm annoyed that we didn't get a matching floor to that cobblestone. I think we would have had a really beautiful cobblestone floor if we had that, but we don't. I've gone for some regular lights, just on the wall as like kind of growing vines, so maybe they strung little lights around it. This mirror is functional, despite the table being here. It does work. I did test it, so that is fine. And then I did like the clothing rack here as like a little divider, like almost like a separate wall. I did toy with the idea of having that like in the water, almost as if like they wash their clothes in the water and hang them to dry back into the water. But I didn't like how it looked. I don't think it made sense, so I just moved it over here as a partition. So there's like two separate spaces. So there's that. And then speaking of the water, so here is the water here. So this part here is actually actually shallower. Your sim needs to go out to around about here to actually be able to bathe. Any deeper than that, it's too deep. Any shallower than that is too shallow. They can also fish here, but you need to stock your own fish. So I found that going to the lake, which is over there, going there, catching a load of fish, and then from there you can like click on this and stock your own fish. I don't know if there's a way to do that otherwise, I have no idea, but that's how I managed to get it to work. It's a really nice pond. This part back here is purely decorational, there's nothing else in here, but there's just so much landscaping which all kind of goes up this little hill bit, and I just think it looks really beautiful, to be honest. I am really, really happy with the landscaping, as well as on the back too. Just little pockets of landscaping here and there, but the main work is the blending between the hill and the roof. And then you've also got the thing on the top. So having flooring to get the painted roof, there were some lines and stuff coming through, so I've had to try to mask them a little bit. Same as like here, the column kind of sticks through. You can't really tell when you're that zoomed in, but the column kind of sticks through a little bit. You can see it just about there. So I've kind of tried masking that a little bit as well. But that is kind of the build. It is honestly really pretty. It's one of my favorite builds I think I've done with this pack. I've done quite a few at this point, but this is one of my favorites for sure. And it looks really cool. The only other thing I would say that's kind of annoying with this one is obviously it looks way better with the roof up. If you have the roof like this, it kind of looks a bit crap. So you kind of always have to play as if you're upstairs, but because everything's so visible here, it doesn't really make a difference. You just have to, it doesn't make a difference at all. You can play like this, no problem. Yeah, I am going to go into the other save that I've got for this, because this is a completely different save, and I'm going to show you what I've done with it now, after playing in it for a couple of hours. Alright, so this is the build after I've played with it for a couple of hours. I think the glaring thing is I've got a cow plant. There are a lot more plants, and there's a chicken coop. I've done it a lot for this. I've also used a sales table, so I've used the flower pressing thing to basically make a load of candles. The picture frames are kind of worthless. They're more just for decoration. You probably make more money just selling the actual flowers and things. But the candles make really good money, especially when you sell them on here. For a little bit of a markup, you get a pretty decent amount of money. So that's what I've been doing for that. I haven't really changed anything over here. This is all the same, apart from the fact I've got a couple more trees. I've got a plantain tree, and I think this is an apple tree. I've kind of separated the areas into sections. So apart from these two trees are anomalies, I've got like the fruit section here. So I've got grapes, I've got blackberries, I've got a lemon tree, I've got a cherry tree. Like this is all kind of fruits. These bits, apart from the mushroom, these bits I think are like vegetables-ish. Yeah, kind of vegetables. And then over here we've got like herbs. And then in this area we've got like a load of flowers. So these will all still work. I had to move a few of these so the sim could get in there, but these do still work. I've got the chicken coop, which is kind of honestly a bit of a squishy space. I wanted to have eggs so that I could make like cakes and things like that and just buy milk as part of the groceries, and like things like flour and sugar, because you can't make flour and sugar, which I think is honestly a bit of an oversight, really. I think you should be able to make kind of every ingredient, because you can make faux meat and soy and things like that, so how can you not make flour and sugar? But I have the chicken coop here. It is very tight, but it does work fine. Although sometimes when I go over to the lake to bathe, the chickens might follow me. And I named the chickens after, oh no, all my chickens died. Never mind. I know the chickens after some people in chat. So you've got Daniel. I think some chickens did die. You've got brown hen. Yeah, some chickens died, I guess. Then never mind. Yeah, here's a table that I made a bit bigger, as I told you. I've also put a crystal creations table just for my regular gameplay. I wanted her. She found a couple precious metals and things by foraging, so I wanted her to be able to make some things out of the precious metals and gems and things like that. Toilet's still there, that works fine. Fairy house still there, that works fine. I have an apothecary table, and it's back here because there's nowhere else to put it. There's so much like hilly areas, so unless I have it in the front, like front and center, which doesn't make sense, there's nowhere else to put it, so I put it back there because I don't honestly really use it that often. And then the main difference is honestly the kitchen. So the kitchen I expanded because I needed a bit more room. Not that I needed more room, but I wanted to actually be able to cook proper food, and I took the grill completely away because there is actually a little garden, like a community garden across the road, and there's a grill there, so I took the grill away because you didn't end up needing it. But yeah, so I expanded the kitchen a fair bit. I just put like a couple of extra counters in here, and I also put like this oven, which looks very like still natural and rustic. Also, there's a bin that I replaced it with. I think that bin is from Werewolves, but it could also be from Batu, and I hope it's not from Batu. I don't think it is, but I think it's from Werewolves. But that is an outdoor trash can that still works as an indoor trash can. So there's just like an extra couple little bits. So I just did like a little half wall out of stone, almost as if they kind of reused what they dug out to build a little half cobblestone wall. I also put a fireplace in here because during the winter that was really helpful, just to get some extra positive moodlets, keep her a bit warmer. It was quite helpful to have. I still got the bed there. I did move the partition in front, which is a little bit annoying to kind of get in here because I've also added this top top curtain, which is from werewolves. That's much more to protect the baby from the elements, because there is a baby or an infant. When the baby was still a baby, I tucked her right in there. But when she became an infant, obviously had to move some things around. So the mum can still sleep in there fine, and the baby can kind of sleep there. I don't know what's going to happen when they are a toddler or when they're a child. I don't know where they're going to sleep. That I haven't played this in a little while. I'm thinking maybe just pitching a tent. I don't know. There's no room for a tent. I don't know what I'm going to do for that. I have no idea what I'm going to do for that. So, yeah, I didn't even think of that far ahead. But that's kind of what I've done with it after playing with it for a couple of hours. I've clearly expanded a lot on the plants I planted. She's made a lot of money as well. She's got 11,000. This is her household fund, so she's got quite a lot of money for someone that has no house. So maybe they could upgrade and actually get a house, maybe like a little outhouse shed, like I could build that over here or something, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I really enjoyed making this little hobbit-y home. I think it looks really good. And I say hobbit home, again, it's not a hobbit home, it's a full-on cave. It's dug out of this, like it's a cave. But I really, really enjoyed making it. It's something different. It kind of pushes you to go outside the constraints of a regular build and literally don't even have any walls. But anyway, this is it. So if you like the video, please feel free to leave a like and maybe subscribe. I do stream on Twitch 3 days a week. I'm currently on a little bit of a mini break. I'm away in England. I'm probably actually back by the time you're seeing this video, but I've been away in England over the last weekend at the start of September, just for, you know, a thing to do with my dad, to kind of say goodbye again, like another memorial thing for him. So I'm going to be away, so this video might be out by the time I'm back, but I don't know. So I do tend to stream Sims on Twitch Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays about 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. More 9 p.m. UK time. So if you want to pop along, the link is in the description. But yeah, that is all from me. Let me know what you think of this build. What's your favourite part of this pack? If you have any good opinions of this pack, mine are quite mixed, but let me know what you think anyway. And I will see you guys in my next video. Yeah. Bye. It's that first day of first grade, that cute girl, your third day, that backpack, that snapback you've had since the third grade. The first time you got laid, the worst time you got played. It hurt, but you're okay. You learn from your mistakes. Your friends back in high school, we thought we were so cool. We'd steal Jack, my dad's stash, and drink the whole night through. The first time you first moved.